Is this thing on? Yep, it's on. Hey guys and girls, it's your girl, Judy O, aka Green Fire Motivation. And as you can see, I am outside. And I am excited because it is Motivation Monday. Everybody say it. Motivation Monday. Motivation Monday. What? Okay, so, no, I'm not going to bust into a song, but I am so high right now because this past weekend was absolutely phenomenal. And when I say phenomenal, I mean phenomenal with two L's. It was the bomb.com. So let me tell you what went down this weekend. This weekend, there were not two, but three spoken word events. There was one at First Amendment in Goldsboro, 701 South George Street. There was one at Illusions, the Arts Council in Kinston, North Carolina. And then there was a Taste of Chocolate Poetry and Art in the Washington Civic Center in Washington, North Carolina. What? Compliments of B-Boy Entertainment. And when I tell you, I'm going to be a little bit transparent. So this white thing, everybody want to do all white. I hear y'all, but let me tell you something. White has always been an issue for me because I be getting stains on my shirt. So let me tell you what happened. And it's a real short story. So the short story is I decided I was going to take a backup shirt just in case I got something on my white shirt. And then it was time to put my makeup on, and I forgot to take that shirt off, and I forgot my backup shirt. So what happened? I ended up with stains on my shirt anyway. But the event was awesome. Everybody was beautiful. The men came in white suits. The women came in white dresses and all these different white outfits. There were thousands of pictures taken. And then the artists. Now, I don't want to name names because I don't want to miss anybody's name and have anybody feel left out. But the artists did their thing. Brad, boy, thank you so much for giving us B-Boy Entertainment. Right now, you might be in small beginnings, but you ain't going to be small much longer because everybody is finding out about you. And FYI, Brad Boy has a Facebook group. It's called Taste of Chocolate, Poetry and Art. And he is pushing for a goal of 1,000 members by September 1st. So if you are not a part of Taste of Chocolate, Poetry and Art, go look for the group on Facebook and definitely request membership. You will not be disappointed. Okay, so the other thing that happened this weekend was Juneteenth. Everybody say, Juneteenth, stand up! Okay, so I heard you. But Juneteenth. Okay, so I'm going to do a little confession. So I actually had, my first time hearing about Juneteenth was last year. I'm not a Texas native. Can't rightfully say that that's a good excuse, but like I said, I was ignorant to the fact until last year. And so there was actually one of my supporters, he actually asked that I, do a video on Juneteenth. And I actually was supposed to write a poem about Juneteenth, but at the time, I was not able to because I wanted to do the appropriate research before I actually wrote the poem. So that poem is coming forth fairly soon now that I have a lot better of an understanding of what it is, what it represents. So last night, I decided I was going to watch, well, not decided, but me, my dad, everybody out there, happy Father's Day. I know I'm a day late, but it depends on when you're watching this video. So happy Father's Day. Also happy Juneteenth. What I understood, what we did was we actually watched the celebration of Juneteenth. There was a concert at the Hollywood Bowl in California. And so me and my dad and my mom, we watched the concert. And throughout the concert, they were doing songs, and then they did some poetry. They had some wonderful dancers from Debbie Allen's Dance Academy. They had many different singers. Neo. I just want to tell you, Neo, that you was killing it. And when I say killing it, I mean in a good way. Your energy was high. You performed at your best. Like, out of everybody that did what they did, Neo, you was the one. You was the one. At least for me. Everybody probably had their favorites, but for me, Neo he just did that. Okay. So understanding what Juneteenth is. So Juneteenth, if you don't already know, I may miss some facts. So if you know better, just drop them in the comments, which is fine. What I understand is now about Juneteenth is that it represents the freedom of slaves who technically were free for 2.5 years before they knew about it. And that was look, y'all pray for me. Okay, so I don't remember the city, but I know it was in Texas. And yesterday, the purpose of the concert at Hollywood Bowl in California was to bring some light to the events. Opal Lee was the person who was pushing the holiday, or for the Juneteenth to become a federal holiday, Juneteenth, June 19th. Okay, and the reason why she was pushing it so hard is because she wanted people to understand that Black history is also American history. And so the theme that the event on CNN, which was actually pushing, was Black history is also American history. But what they touched on that really touched me was the fact that they understood that bringing all these people together, is rekindling that flame that we could have or may have lost during the pandemic, bringing people back together. What we have to understand is anytime there's a tragic event, that happens on the U.S. soil, it affects everybody. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it affects everybody. And so after that traumatic experience, what happens? We act like, let me think the best way to put that. You know how when your body's going through some trauma and then your blood and all the different organs in your body start reacting to try to fix the problem? And so that's what happens after we here in the United States go through a traumatic experience that affects everybody. Like, for example, 9/11. 9/11, there were thousands and thousands of people who died. There are thousands and thousands of people now who are still suffering, side effects and symptoms and everything from being on that site trying to save people and all that stuff. But what happened after 9/11, we saw unity. We saw everybody coming together because, to be honest, death has no color. I'm going to say that again. To be honest, death has no color. Death doesn't care if you're white, black, yellow, brown, purple, pink. It doesn't care. When it's time for you to die, it's time for you to die. Nobody's going to be saying, hey, what race was you when she died? Just saying. So what we have to understand is if we can come together for traumatic experiences, then we can come together when there are no traumatic experiences. We can come together when everybody is happy and alive and getting along, it's almost like family. Like, sometimes there's a lot of people who the only time you see them is during a funeral. And it's just like, but why? So all these years passed and you haven't seen each other and you were okay with it, but then at the funeral you want to cry boo-hoo tears, which, hey, everybody grieves, but I'm just saying, give people their flowers while they're still here. Don't wait for them to leave and then sit and regret thinking about what you could have said, should have said, wanted to say, and didn't say. See what I'm saying? So Juneteenth, and Juneteenth. Now I'm gonna put it to you this way. Some people feel, and I'm about to step on some toes, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Okay, so some people feel like, why would we celebrate Juneteenth? Why would we celebrate Juneteenth? Because of what the foundation of the celebration is, the fact that slaves they were free, but they didn't know it for 2.5 years. So why should we celebrate when we were held in bondage for 2.5 years longer than we were supposed to be? Well, on the other side of that is the fact that we overcame. On the other side of that is that Juneteenth is a part of American history. You know, a lot of these, a lot of this country was built on the backs of slaves. Like, and I'm no history buff, but one thing I do understand is that my grandfather worked on the railroad. He put down that wood and that metal that's still on the ground today, supporting the trains that run over it. Hello. There was a time where, he was close to home and he could lay the tracks. But as the tracks got longer, the distance from between him and his family got longer. Why? Because he's got to put food on his table. So when I tell you that those train tracks support everybody, understand. The train, right? It transports what? It transports resources. Okay? It transports resources. So if it's transporting resources, and my grandfather just happened to lay down at least one of those wooden beam, those metal beams, or one of them wooden pieces that go underneath the metal beams, then we are standing today. We are standing on his work. Hello, we are standing on his work. So you can't tell me that one person doesn't affect everybody else. I can't even think how many beams he may have laid. How many beams would not have gotten laid if he had not been a part of the team? And I'm not going to hang on that for a long time, but what I want you to understand is that, Juneteenth, Opal Lee, matter of fact, Opal Lee is the person who was pushing making Juneteenth a holiday. Why? She's 95 years old and she is still pushing the cause. Do you have any idea how long it took her to make it a holiday? Look, can you imagine what kind of barriers she faced? She's 95. How long do you think it took her to make that a holiday? And they even said it last night. The last black holiday was 40 years ago. It was Martin Luther King Day. So it took 40 more years to make this a holiday? Wow, that's a long time. And she's 95. So I don't even know what age she started pushing for it to become a holiday. So when I hear people say, it's no need to celebrate it, I mean, if for nothing else, celebrate it because of freedom. Celebrate it because, we understand that the progress of our ancestors is what got us to where we are today. The progress of our black ancestors is not just the progress of black people. It's the progress of the country, period. It's the progress of the country, period. Because what you have to understand is, hold on, y'all. I'm about to go real deep for a second. I'm going to try to keep it censored. But, okay, so we have the slave females and we have the male owners. And we know that those bodies at some point were intertwined and created children, okay? So at some point you have the black females and you have the Native American females, right? Okay, so at some point those bodies were intertwined, okay? So that's the reason why this country is called the melting pot. Why? Because the racial lines are being extremely blurred because everybody is mixing. Everybody is mixing. If I could be completely honest, I don't think there's one person who can say with a clear conscience, I'm only one race. I'm only one race. Not here in the United States. Purebred who? No. No. Because even your great-great-great-great-grandmama might have been a slave. I'm just saying. Okay, so I'm gonna move forward, y'all. So here's the deal. This is what Green Fire, I forgot to even introduce the channel. I got so excited. If you are still watching right now, this is the Green Fire Motivation channel. I am Judy O, and here on this channel, we are empowering you to take action and to take control of your life. And so the reason why I'm talking about Juneteenth is because I believe that it's important for us to know how that one holiday affects everybody. It affects everybody. Now there are two things that I've heard people say, and everybody has a right to their own their own thoughts, their own opinions. So my point here is always to leave you with something to think about, okay? So I've heard people say that they don't want to celebrate Juneteenth because it's a man-made holiday. And I can definitely understand, the reason behind why you would say you don't want to celebrate because it's a man-made holiday. But my thoughts about it being a man-made holiday is this. Okay, this shirt is man-made. I gotta wear clothes. The car that I drive is man-made. I gotta get to work. The food that's in my refrigerator, somebody chopped up that meat because I wasn't gonna do it. Man-made, okay? So I get that, it's a man-made holiday, but it's up to you to choose how you want to carry it out. Now it's not just a once in a while thing. Juneteenth is now a federal holiday. And when it says federal, that means it's a holiday that's not just gonna be swept under the rug like some of the other things are, It's a holiday that's gonna be recognized every single year. I don't know anybody. Okay, Martin Luther King Day is a federal holiday, right? Do you know how many years has it been since nobody has celebrated Martin Luther King Day? And it's not about the person per se. It's not about the date per se. It's about the progress that has been made. And yeah, I know, we still got a long way to go, but some progress is better than no progress. Am I wrong? So if you agree with me, type in the comments, some progress is better than no progress. Yeah, it's coming along slow. Yeah, we've got a long ways to go, but you have to start looking at the cup as half full, not half empty. It's too many people talking about, okay, look, if you're going to talk about it, then do something about it. Don't sit there and talk about you mad about this happening and that happening, and all you're doing is sitting on your couch just watching the TV all day long. Okay, if you feel that strongly about something, then you need to get up and do something about it. And that's what Opal Lee did. She got up and she did something about it. She felt like Juneteenth needed to be recognized. And not only is it recognized in this country, it's recognized around the world. Yo, they did that broadcast on CNN.